Good morning. Thanks for joining us. As you know, legal marijuana sales and home growing were legalized by the voters in a referendum last fall. And just this past week, the legislature completed work on the new pot law. Here to help us find out what's in it and what happens next are the co-chairs of the legislature's Joint Committee on Marijuana Policy, Senator Patricia Jehlen of Somerville and Representative Mark Cusack of Braintree. Representative, Senator, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. Congratulations on completing this. What was sort of the biggest trouble spot, and how did you resolve it? Take us inside these super secret deliberations a little bit. Why don't you start, Senator?
It's not that secret. The big issues were taxes,
right,
and who made the decision about whether to ban marijuana sales in a community. I just want to be clear that sales were not legalized in the yet, that doesn't start till next July. So right now
the process has been set up.
I think for all of us, we came to realize that having access to sales is so important because people can possess and grow and consume, but they can't buy right now. And until we make it legal, until we have legal sales that are spread across the state, people will be buying, because people are buying and using marijuana right now.
Right, right. What about for you? What was the stickiest point, and how'd you get to yes?
The senator nailed it. It was really the taxes and the local control issues. And we got to yes over a couple weeks of negotiations.
More than 3.
Yeah, a little bit more than 3, less than 4. But, you know, we were trading proposals back and forth and hatching out different ideas. And thankfully, we got to a reasonable compromise for both chambers and the consumers in Massachusetts.
Well, this bill is replete with some of the nation's strictest regulations governing the pot selling process, and it sets up an extensive bureaucracy to draw up and enforce even more regulations than are contained in the law. To me, it reads like an ultra-careful approach by people who aren't necessarily 100% sure this is a great idea. Is that fair?
It's fair to a point. Yeah, we do set up a bureaucracy, but you need that. This is going to be a potentially multi-billion-dollar industry here in Massachusetts. So what we did in the bill is give minimum instructions to the new Cannabis Control Commission, kind of give them a foundation to get off the ground with, in order for them to get their regulations out the door and to get this industry up and running by July 1st, 2018. It was better than giving them a blank sheet of paper and saying, now build it. So we wanted to give them a foundation, a minimum expectations, what we were looking for.
I mean, are you apprehensive about what's going to unfold a year from now?
I'm more hopeful. I think that the bill actually removes barriers to the development of this new retail market and the production, because, for example, in the ballot question, there was a 2-year wait between when medical marijuana producers could start growing, or they are growing, and when other people could get into the industry. So we removed that, and it's only 2 weeks now. And the same for retail, that there was a 1-year wait between when medical marijuana shops could start selling adult-use marijuana. So that's a barrier that's been removed, and I think that will actually help the market develop.
Do you two consider this law less restrictive than some of the other legal pot states, more or the same?
Roughly the same, but we benefited hugely from not being the first state to go down this road, and we really looked at the other states and talked to the officials from other states and really took a lessons learned approach and what they would do differently, and that's what's in the bill, and hopefully we get it right.
Well, again, just my subjective take, having read through the bill, don't worry about that, that's fine. But it reminds me a little bit of the 2011 casino law in its complexity, in the depth of the regulatory authority that's set up. And for all its good intentions, I know I'm not the only person impatient with the pace of economic harvest from legalized gambling in Massachusetts. Do you have any concerns? We have to take a break, but briefly, do you have any concerns that this budding industry's been overburdened out of the gate? Senator?
I think actually the local control issue, the reason we agreed to a higher tax rate than we wanted is we wanted to remove that barrier, to say that not make it easier for local officials to shut down local sales. So I think it actually removes another barrier to making it happen. So I'm optimistic.
How about you?
I'm very optimistic as well. With the way we crafted this bill and the instructions in the bill, retail sales of adult use marijuana will absolutely be in effect July 1st, 2018, and we really did learn our lesson here in Massachusetts from the horrible rollout of the medical program, and moving medical over and capturing that expertise and those regulations will really help us get off the ground.
Did Braintree vote yes on 4?
Braintree voted no.
No? Will Braintree have pot shops, do you think?
I don't know about necessarily retail, but the way we crafted local control, it's not all or nothing, that you can ban retail sales while still allowing manufacturing and cultivating. So we really gave a menu item for communities to choose what works best for them.
All right, hold those thoughts and we'll continue our conversation about the new marijuana law, what is to come, when we continue our conversation in just a moment. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We're talking about the new marijuana law with the co-chairs of the legislature's Joint Committee on Marijuana Policy. And Senator, you were saying during the break, you have more to say about this whole tax rate issue. I mean, there was a lot of hand-wringing about the 28%, I believe, is what the House wanted total. And there's even some hand-wringing about the 17 to 20% range that you compromised on. The bill does call for annual reevaluation of that rate. Do you foresee the tax rate being tweaked over time?
I think other states have both gone down, mostly gone down, and gone up. States that were very high have gone down. States that were lower than us have gone up, or lower than we are now. So that's possible, but I just want to point out that although it's higher than the voters voted for and higher than I would have preferred, it is among the lowest in the country. It's the same as Oregon, exactly the same as Oregon, which has 17% for the state, 3% optional at the local level.
You see that rising over the short term?
It could rise, it could fall. You know, there's too many unknowns to regulating and implementing this new marketplace. So we wanted to give the CCC, the Cannabis Control Commission, the flexibility to really analyze the revenue we're taking in. Is it enough to regulate this industry, but also to invest in key areas such as substance use prevention and treatment?
I mean, there is a lot riding on the revenue yield from this, is there not? I mean, not just in terms of what it's going to take to fulfill the mandates of the law, but also you all on Beacon Hill need fresh revenue sources, right? You're in agreement on that.
Yeah, the revenues have been off over the past year.
Yeah.
We just seen the budget having to be reduced before it was even signed into law, and even more cuts proposed by the governor that are before us now. But you know, we really focus on the revenue generated from this. We in the bill, we stayed away from dollar amounts and percentages. We didn't want to lock ourselves in.
Right.
But we outlined key areas such as substance use, education programs for the youth, because there's a real concern here where you're moving people out of the black market. Where does the black market go? And that's going to be people under 21.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, we just have...
Just to
go
add
ahead,
that
sure.
I think the other question about where the black market goes is it gives opportunity, which some would have removed, for people who have been working in the black market to move into the new legal market, and they can bring their expertise without being denied jobs.
Well, you mentioned the that it's for over 21, and the one little technical question I wanted you both to clear up. The law calls for, the law disallows marketing to a live audience or on a form of media, newspapers, radio, TV, if the audience being marketed to is less than 85% composed of adults over 21. How on earth are you going to figure that out in advance? How can you tell if the crowd at a Patriots game is 85% adults?
You know, the marketing agencies, the ratings will know that. But there was a real concern that you want to make sure that it's not marketed to people under 21, and you know, some of that's even being in newspapers, or you know, keeping it away from just general population. And apologize to your parent company's profits on the marijuana advertising, but this was key, that it's not marketed towards kids, as you've seen with the tobacco and the flavored tobacco now in the marketplace.
So you don't want it at Justin Bieber concerts?
Well, you represent Medford. I guess the Tufts University student paper is not going to get any display ads, right? Because that's an audience that's... Okay, all right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Thank you for coming by, and let's stay in touch on this. Perhaps you'll come back in a year or so, and we'll evaluate.
1st, we'll see.
Yeah, right after July 1st.
How many
Check it
places
then.
open.
Thanks, Senator.
Sure,
Appreciate it, Representative.
John.
Thank you, and thank you for joining me. Now I'm going to send it back over to my colleagues for more WBZ News.